What up, Trail Gangstas? Welcome to This Week in Arizona Running, where I cover some of the top performances by Arizona runners in the trail and road running scene, sometimes the track. We got a lot to cover today because a ton went down in the past couple weeks. We're going to start on the roads because there have been now 2 high-profile course marking issues recently that have directly impacted runners from Arizona. Most notably would be Jess McLean from Phoenix. She is a top-tier marathoner who was racing the half marathon championships in Atlanta, Georgia. She was taken off course by the lead vehicle with 2 other women, and there's so many videos and discussion about this. David Roche, who is Jess McLean's coach, brought more attention to this, which was great because more or less they have been able to sort out the prize money and the overall results. They came up with an honorary double podium, which you can see here. Atlanta Track Club distributed the prize money that those top 3 women would have won. And now, most importantly, what they need to sort out is who is going to make the world team for the women. Now, on the men's side, that was an incredible race. And because of the debacle, I feel like you heard a lot less about that. So I wanted to definitely highlight the 3 men from Arizona who were in the top 5. 2 of those are making the world team, so that would be Wesley Kiptoo, who got the win, and then Abin Muhammad, both of NAZ Elite. They're awesome people, awesome runners, so congrats to them representing Team USA. Let's do this. Now at the LA Marathon, Michael Kimani Kamau from Kenya, I think that's how you say his name, was leading the race with less than a mile to go to the finish. When he was more or less directed off course, you can decide for yourself what happened here, but definitely I can see how he thought he had to go right, and he lost at least 8 seconds here. Now it does take a little bit away from what was otherwise an incredible comeback sprint by Nathan Martin, who ended up squeaking past Kamani at the finish line. It was a viral clip that was shared widely. This was awesome for Nathan because he's a Michigan cross-country coach, but he runs for McCurdy Trained, which is based here in Flagstaff. I gotta give a little plug to Total Running Productions YouTube channel, who put together some really comprehensive videos breaking down both of the course marking situations I've talked about, and he proposes a simple solution. I'll clip that part right here.
If we go over to the Berlin Half Marathon, we can see these triple blue lines all over the course at about every 5 meters. This is done by the race director and race organizers to ensure that each and every runner stays on course. And with clear markers like this that are easily identifiable, the odds of going off course go down substantially. If the road had been painted blue with lines like this, confusion at this turn here would have very unlikely taken place. Even with the presence of this woman here, if Kamau had the guided blue triple lines to follow, I'm sure he would have gone straight.
Switching coast to Jacksonville, Florida, at the highly competitive Gate River Run 15K, several Arizona runners showed up strong, with Rachel Smith leading the way. She was 7th female running a 50-10. I gotta give a special shout out though to Calli Thackeray, who finished 9th female in 50-48. If you don't follow her or don't know her story, she had some incredible news recently announcing that her and her husband Nick Hogger are going to be having a baby. So basically, if you look back at the timeline, which people deduced very quickly, when she won the Honolulu Marathon, she was 4 weeks pregnant. When she then won Houston Marathon, she was 8 weeks pregnant. This is incredibly inspiring to see. She's continuing the race lineup she picked before she knew she was pregnant. She's going to be racing the New York City Half Marathon this coming weekend, and then she's still in the elite field for the Boston Marathon. It's been really cool to see them launch their new YouTube channel, so if you want to follow their journey, check that out. I'll put a link in the description below for that. Meanwhile, over in Europe, I got to talk about another Flagstaff great. That would be Jim Walmsley hitting the roads. He took on some pacing duties at the Paris Half Marathon, finishing in a very casual 1:04:56, placing 27th overall. It was kind of an interesting choice there by Jim. Not sure if he just wanted a speedier up-tempo workout or if he has some other kind of interesting race lineup plan, but we'll find out soon, I'm sure. While we're talking about speed, I got to give a major congrats to Nikki Hiltz who just won the U.S. Indoor Championship in the 1500 meters, securing their 4th consecutive national indoor title. So they are going to Worlds again. That comes shortly after their big win at the Wanamaker Mile, continuing an absolutely dominant indoor season. Nice work, Nikki. If you didn't know this, Nikki took part in the Flagstaff Doggy Dash a couple years ago. It was super nice of them. They ran with their dog, so that event is going down on May 24th. Make sure you sign up for that. That's at ultrasignup.com. There's also a 12, 6, and 3 hour called the Buffaloops Ultras. If you know, you know. Bringing it back to Arizona, one of the longest running road races in the Phoenix area is the Pancake Run. That was hosted by Runner's Den, who has been putting this race on since 1979. It's had some legendary winners like Bill Rogers, Alan Webb, and someone else I know. This is my 10K medal from the win in 2019. But enough about me. We got to talk about the podium here. We had Hunter Hicks take it for the win. He's having a good season so far. He ran 30:52 for the men's win, and Amy Hoagland ran 36:12 to secure the female win. Now here are the podiums for the 5K, and they also have a division called the double stack for those who do both. Finally, we get to talk about the trails. I love the Copper Corridor races that are offered out in Superior by Aravaipa Running. Here we have the top 50K performances from Arizona. It's a pretty quick course, very beautiful, and I understand the 50K usually comes in about a mile and change under, so if you want to possibly run a 50K PR, it's a spot to do it. However, it was blazing hot out there, almost 90 degrees. Also bringing the heat was the 32K race because we had another showdown between the rivals Bryce Brooks and Aaron Barber. Bryce Brooks came out on top, actually beating out Kurt Houghton, who had the lead for a little bit there, and I understand Aaron Barber took a tumble, which is why he got third. Or I don't know, is that your excuse? I'm not sure. No, just kidding. Solid job, guys, on the podium. We're gonna bop over to Page, Arizona and the Antelope Canyon Ultras. Hey, I see someone I know because I coach her. Tara Friend took the win for the 55K, winning in a time of 6:14:16. Jameel Curry was also in that race. He took 17th for the men in 6:44. I was skimming through the 50-mile results and some of the other distances, and it was pretty hard to tell who was from Arizona since hometowns were not listed. So if there's anyone else I'm failing to mention, please let me know so I can give them a shout out as well. Going down to Tucson, further south, we had the Old Pueblo Endurance Runs. Here are your top performers in the 50-mile. I thought this stood out to me. Rob Krar took the W in the 25-miler. Of course, a legendary runner, so I love to see that. There were some Arizona runners out at the Moab Red Hot Ultras. The top performance that I found was Connor Mers taking 9th male in the 50-mile with a time of 11:15. At the Havasu Half Marathon, you get the unique opportunity to run over the actual London Bridge. We had some solid performances there by runners from Arizona, most notably Heidi Nadeau taking the win for the women with a time of 1:29. Also going down was the Snake Bite 20K in Fountain Hills. So here's the podium for both of them. Now this would be a good time in the show where I'd like to do some corrections or at least mention some race performances that I might have missed in the last video. Gotta shout out Eleni Matarese, who finished 7th female at the Black Canyon 100K in 8:56 in that stacked field that you saw. That was her debut. I should have caught this because she lives and trains right here in Flagstaff. She even snagged the Burrito League crown for fastest segment right here in town. Stellar performance. Can't wait to see what she does as she gets better and better at the Ultras. Now, maybe this one flew under the radar because it happened during the Black Canyon Ultras. There was the Copper Hills 4-Peak Challenge. Kurt Houghton took the overall win in 2:54:22. Thanks for telling me about that race. Looks like a cool one. And Jessica Jacobson won for the women with a time of 4:08:16. Keep this race on your radar for next year for sure. Now on the Trail GangstAZ Instagram page, which I hope you follow, I try to compile a list of all the best races that you should run in Arizona in a given month. I forgot to shout out this awesome race by Ghost Head Productions. It's the Skull Crusher 50K going down on March 21st in the Tano National Forest. So get out there, run fast, or as fast as you can on those trails. Taking place next for me would be the Mountain to Fountain 15K. I'm going to be hopping into that. Yeah, let me know. What races do you have coming up? Is there anyone I should have shouted out who had a really strong race performance? Hit me up in the comments, DM me on Trail GangstAZ. Peace, guys.